Big embarrassment for Zelensky? Russia downs Ukraine's hyped missile, raising fresh questions over Kyiv's newest weapon. Zelensky's most successful missile shot down with a machine gun? Russia claims a stunningly low-tech interception. Zelensky's pride falls from the sky. Ukraine's reported 3,000 kilometers missile stopped, dealing a fresh blow to Kyiv's strike ambitions? On cam, Kyiv's much-hyped Flamingo falls over Kursk, as Russia claims another victory against Ukraine's long-range arsenal. Big missile kill by Russia stuns Ukraine? Flamingo not so invincible, as Moscow claims it has exposed a weakness. Putin's war machine rattles Kyiv as Russia seeks bloody revenge, turning Ukraine's latest missile into a new battlefield target. Ukraine's FP-5 Flamingo missile may not be as invincible as touted by Volodymyr Zelensky, with Russia claiming a fresh interception. A Ukrainian FP-5 Flamingo missile flying over Kursk was allegedly shot down by Russian air defenses, according to Russian reports. The interception allegedly took place during a Ukrainian missile and drone attack on August 23, as Russian forces responded to the incoming strikes. Kursk Governor Alexander Kinstein said the Flamingo missile flew below 50 meters, according to RT, making detection more challenging. The Bar's Kursk Mobile Air Defense Unit reportedly detected the missile traveling at around 500 kilometers per hour. Russian volunteers then reportedly opened fire with a machine gun at the Ukrainian missile, attempting to bring down the incoming projectile. The projectile reportedly lost altitude after being hit and crashed into a wooded area, according to an RT report. A video showing the alleged missile interception was released by Bar's Kursk soldiers, RT claimed, offering a rare glimpse of the incident. A second part of the footage reportedly shows soldiers examining the wreckage at the crash site after the missile came down. Russian forces claimed they recovered mission data from the missile's wreckage, potentially revealing details about its intended target. Russia further claimed the recovered wreckage showed the Ukrainian missile was aimed at a key facility in Tula, though the allegation remains unverified. Russian officials allegedly said the missile carried a warhead equivalent to 1 ton of explosives, highlighting the claimed destructive potential. Ukraine unveiled the FP-5 Flamingo in 2025 and presented it as a key long-range strike weapon, adding to Kyiv's growing missile arsenal. Ukrainian forces targeted Russian ozone logistics hubs for a third consecutive night on August 23 to 24, extending a campaign against Moscow's major retail supply networks. Russian monitoring channels reported fires at ozone facilities in Adygea and Stavropol during the overnight attacks, although the full extent of the damage remained unclear. A Kuchenland warehouse in Russia's Krasnodar region also caught fire during the drone attacks, adding to the disruption reported across the region. Krasnodar Governor Veniamin Kondrativ said falling drone debris killed 2 children and injured 7 other people during the overnight strikes. Kondrativ said the debris also damaged residential buildings and sparked additional fires at warehouse and logistics facilities. The latest strikes followed several Ukrainian attacks targeting Russian retail and logistics infrastructure in recent days, suggesting Kiev was increasingly focusing on networks supporting Russia's war economy. Meanwhile, Russia struck a Mondelez factory in Ukraine's Sumy region on August 23, with the attack reportedly injuring several people. Ukraine said the facility belonged to a major American company and used the strike to renew calls for stronger Western air defense support. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukrainian forces had struck a Russian Iskander missile launcher near the border on August 22 as Kiev sought to reduce the threat from ballistic attacks. Zelensky said Ukraine was increasingly targeting Russian missile launchers because its air defense forces were facing a critical shortage of interceptors. He warned that Russia could potentially produce as many as 1,300 ballistic missiles a year, raising concerns about Moscow's ability to sustain large-scale missile barrages. Ukraine has received 264 Patriot interceptors this year, but its Air Force has reportedly requested around 360 missiles to meet the growing threat. Germany has also agreed to provide 600 PAC-2 missiles during 2027 and 2028, as Kiev continues pressing Washington and its allies for additional air defense supplies. Ukraine is meanwhile developing the Freyja air defense system as a longer-term alternative intended to reduce its dependence on expensive Western interceptor systems such as Patriot.
Если говорить о том, что происходит сейчас, это...
As for what is happening now, this is, of course, the result of yet another reckless move by the Kiev regime and its Western backers, who have set out to inflict yet another strategic defeat on Russia. This time, as is well known, within 40 days and by means of massive missile strikes and UAV attacks on our civilian infrastructure and logistics. A public declaration was made stating the aim to destroy entire sectors of our country's economy and to undermine the unity of our people and the cohesion of Russian society. In short, the aim is to bring Russia to the brink of collapse, something they have long dreamt of and constantly talk about. As is well known, this 40-day period expired on August 5th. And so, the question arises, what is the result? Of course, strikes against civilian, virtually unprotected targets and, most importantly, against civilians, cause economic damage to our country and result in losses. And the loss of every single person, I want to emphasize this, is always a tragedy. For the family, for loved ones, and for the whole country. We know full well that the Nazis during the Great Patriotic War and the Second World War, and the neo-Nazis today, derived, and, by all accounts, continue to derive, a particular sense of satisfaction and pleasure from committing such crimes, and we can see that these crimes are continuing. Yet the outcome for the enemy was the exact opposite of what was expected. Of course, no turning point in the confrontation with Russia occurred, nor could it have done. The Kiev regime and its patrons cannot gain any advantage, have not gained one, and never will. Moreover, in response to this obvious escalation, and I emphasize obvious, which is not based on an objective analysis of the situation on the battlefield or the state of the Ukrainian economy, society, and state, which is being eroded by corruption, but rather on public relations and political ambitions. In response to this reckless venture, we have indeed stepped up our strikes, as you have just mentioned. We have stepped up strikes against enterprises in Ukraine's defense industrial complex, including those in Kiev, and have begun to respond to the enemy's actions against our civilian industrial and logistics facilities. The Kiev regime has set itself the goal of damaging our economy. What has it done? It has opened this Pandora's box all by itself. Well then, you'll get a response targeting your most vulnerable economic sectors, which, to be honest, are already on their last legs. This, incidentally, also applies to agricultural production, from the export of which the Kiev regime receives its main income. Moving on, do you want to disrupt our logistics? We might ask the enemy this question. Well then, a response will not be long in coming. Here you go. At the same time, the actions of the Russian army are, of course, far more devastating and far more destructive. I have said time and again, there will always be a response. And most importantly, the enemy's actions have had absolutely no impact on the situation at the front.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.